You never know when you're truly ready. The thing is, every time you take a new job or a new client, take on a new project, new client, whatever, you should be aiming for something slightly beyond what you've already done. And I believe they have a term for this called failing upwards or failing up. And the way failing up works is that people within organizations get promoted due to high performance at their current level, and that promotion cycle continues until they reach the level at which they no longer are a high performer. And then that's where they stay. And at that level, they flounder, they struggle, and that's called failing upwards. This is a theory that I do agree with, and you see a lot in professional sports, specifically within coaching. For example, oftentimes within football, American football, you see college football coaches who have had a great deal of success in the collegiate game get promoted to the professional game and just fail miserably. And that's failing upwards. So going back to the original question, how do you know when you're ready? Well, the answer is you're not ready, and you have to use the experience to get ready, and then you fail upwards. When I was first starting out in 2012, I had no way of knowing I was ready because I didn't have any professional experience. I didn't even have any formal training. I just taught myself the same way anybody else, books and internet and whatever I can get my hands on. And then I moved to New York City to start my programming career. And the very first job I got, I quickly learned I was not ready. Man, was I not ready. And that job really stuck it to me. And I failed my way up that one pretty fast. Now, I got ready. I learned a lot in that one position. I still messed it up a lot. But I walked away having improved my skill set a lot. And then when the next job came along, again, I wasn't ready, but I was better. I was in a better position. I still wasn't ready. I still really messed up a lot of things. And then this goes on for a while until you use the experience to get better and better and better. Essentially, this is an extension, a continuation of your education. So when you're first starting out, the answer is you're not ready. That's a given. And any company with a strong technical team or with any level of experience, they already understand this. Any company that does not understand this is an inexperienced company. And you don't want to work for them because they're going to have unrealistic expectations. But if you're engaging with a company that has a strong technical team and some experience, they already understand this. So for example, when I'm talking to junior developers, I already know going in the first few months I'm going to get no real return on the junior developer. So what I'm measuring is just how smart this person is, just the raw horsepower, and B, how curious, how willing to learn, and how much do they do on their own, how much information do they absorb on their own, how far do they get, how thirsty for knowledge and improvement are they. And then those are the people you want to bring on because they will progress. They will fail upwards. And that's understood on both sides of the table. Now, eventually what happens is you start working with teams, other developers, most importantly, code bases that were created by other developers who probably aren't even there anymore. They went on to other jobs and other contracts and whatever. And this is a good thing because it gives you frame of reference. And this is really my best indicator to know where I stand in the industry, is when I take over a code base or I work with a couple other engineers and I see what they're doing, and then I can tell whether or not um, I'm at their level or they're at my level. And for the first few years, it was me struggling to get to their level. And that went on for a while, a couple of years. But now, we're in late 2018. I can pretty much see where everyone I work with is either at my level or lower. Because they're asking me, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you handle, this situation or that situation? And I have an answer. I tell them this is what I do and that's what I do, and I've done that this way, etc. And then gradually over a number of years, you find yourself more and more becoming the answer than the one asking all the questions. And then you're ready. You've reached a certain level. And that's really the only way to know, because it's not an empirical standard, it's a relative one. You're ready relative to everyone else, if that makes any sense. One thing that I've tried to explain to my friends who have kids is that I grew up in a very competitive area in terms of academics. People want to get all their kids into the best colleges and honors and AP classes and all that nonsense. So a question I used to get rather frequently was, how is the AP class for so-and-so? Or how hard is the honors calculus class in this school, whatever? And I tell them, it's not so much the school or the curriculum, it's the peer group. The peer group is what matters the most. The peer group will determine the level of rigor of the situation. The teacher doesn't even matter. It's the peer group. I mean, unless the teacher is completely crazy and ridiculous, but that's an extenuating circumstance. Who you're surrounded by is what determines how rigorous the situation will be. And I've had a pretty good frame of reference here as well. Growing up, I went to a private school from 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And then I switched over to my public school district. And in my private school, my peer group was very, very strong. And I was placed in the highest level math class, which means I was in the strongest group of an already strong group. And that was a very stressful experience for me. I was 13, 14 years old, and I was studying like I was in college. And I was not making A's, I was getting B's, B pluses. Switch over to public school, you can probably figure out where the story is going. That was just kind of a breeze. It was like 3 years of vacation. And then I went back to a rigorous atmosphere at Cornell University, where I went to college. That was like going back to my middle school, because everyone was smart. Everyone was smart. Everyone was hardworking, at least in my peer group. So the high-level math classes, the statistics classes, the linear algebras, the matrix algebra, stuff like that, multivariable calculus. So all that jazz. Everyone was smart and hardworking. So that forced me to work really, really hard. And the peer group is what demanded that out of me. So that's what really determines if you're ready. Hopefully that makes sense. Which means you really can't know until you put yourself in those situations. And then it's sort of sink or swim. Hopefully swim. So, understand that the odds are you're not ready. In fact, almost guaranteed you're not ready unless you've already had some professional experience. And the way to get ready is to get in the game, start kind of making a mess, making your mistakes, getting that out of the way, and growing and evolving. And that's how you get ready. There are going to be some messes along the way. To make an omelet, you got to break some eggs. And I certainly, definitely broke a few eggs those first couple of years. man, I broke some eggs. So that's how you know. So hopefully that makes sense. Thanks for watching.